Going to stick with our congressional candidates. Is Scott Gunderson available? Come on up, Scott. I know a couple other candidates have arrived, so once again, just to kind of go over the ground rules, don't forget to ask for money, don't forget to ask for help, don't forget to promote your website, and the three questions that the room would like to hear tonight is your views on taxation, immigration, and healthcare. And thank you, Scott. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Good to meet you. I see Rick back there. One of us will be a congressman next year. We're going to beat the Democrats. As I said, I don't care who it is. We have to take this seat. I've talked to Rick. Rick said that this is the first time in practically a generation that we have a chance to take this seat. We know that the system is broken. The connected politicians, the uber rich, people who've been politicians their entire careers, they're the ones in charge right now. If you look at Georgia the other day, the Democrat spent $50 million to run against a Republican who had to spend $5 million or so, by the way. What does that tell you? Does that tell you how corrupt our government is? When you want to spend $55, $60 million for a position that pays $170 something, that tells you right there that the system is absolutely corrupt. And the reason why I decided to run, I've been running since February. I probably was going to be the only person to run against Songus. I knew I didn't have a chance, but I ran against her because out of principle, out of love for this country. So who am I? My name is Scott Gunderson. I'm from Groton. I have a wife I've been married to for 22 years, 4 children. For 26 years I served this state. I've served this district and I served the 3rd district. I wanted to go to the Naval Academy when I graduated high school. Didn't have political connections. I'm not politically connected or rich or anything like that. So I enlisted. The Secretary of the Navy appointed me in 1990. The President commissioned me personally in 1994. I was a pilot, an instructor pilot for the Navy. I've landed, so I'm a retired commander. Landed on aircraft carriers. That was my job. For those of you who have done that, you know that it's a pressure situation. I was on the USS John F. Kennedy Battle Group. I was one of 3 people who had autonomous weapons release authority. What that means is without anybody's permission, I had control over all the crazy weapons that we have in a battle group. So this trust that's been established there. In Iraq, I did a full combat tour on the ground with the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force. I was the infrastructure officer for Anbar Province, responsible for all the railroads, pipelines, refineries, roads, bridges. When the insurgents would blow them up, it was my job to fix them. So I also know infrastructure at a national level. I ran Anbar Province, the infrastructure, during my tour there. So responsibility, pressure, and trust are all things that were entrusted to me over 26 years, almost 27 years of my career in the United States Navy. What do I stand for? What am I going to bring to you guys? So I only have a couple of minutes. Taxes, you guys know that Massachusetts, we're one of the most taxed states in the country. I retired out of Texas. I thought it would be great coming up here. It was the taxes, I just cannot believe what we pay and what we get in return. I don't see what we get in return. You know that George Mason University came up with a study in July and said Massachusetts is the 3rd worst state as far as fiscal responsibility right now. You don't hear that from the media because the media is controlled by one party right now, but you will hear that after this election. We have 14 state, I believe Rick would know this better than me, we have 14 state pensions, all funded below 80%. So whether we agree with it or not, the people who have been promised these pensions, it's going to go the way of Illinois, it's going to go the way of Connecticut, it's not going to be there in the future. These people do not realize what their government has done to them here. We are also GDP to debt, or debt to GDP, the 2nd worst state in the nation. There is no money in the state. There's no money at the federal level. We are $20 trillion in debt right now in county. We need someone to show a beacon on the financial mismanagement that has taken place in this state. Responsibility, accountability. The person who had the seat before me, she didn't get so much as a post office here. She didn't have to because she knew she would get elected and re-elected every single time. That will end with me, myself, or with Rick. Immigration, citizens and veterans are coming before illegal immigrants. Enough said. one other thing about our veterans too, it's a national disgrace. 20 veterans or more a day kill themselves waiting for care at the VA. National disgrace. I'm a disabled veteran. I get most of my care from the VA. Up here it is good. But a lot of veterans, especially from Vietnam era and Korea, they wait months. They wait a year to get health care related to the injuries they sustain in the military. A lot of these guys become hopeless and just, like I said, commit suicide. It's something that needs to be fixed. Like I said again, citizens and veterans will come before illegal aliens if I have my say in Congress. So, to close, we need a wild card in this election. We need somebody who's not politically connected, who is coming out of nowhere, or we will lose the seat. And if we lose it and a Democrat gets entrenched, it's going to be a decade, 2 decades, probably won't see it in my lifetime, because once they get in, it's impossible to get them out. So we need to get them out now. And I believe that I am that candidate. So thank you again for inviting me.